Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to Luther Family Ford here in Fargo, North Dakota for the January Salute to Service. One of the highlights of our month. We're always glad to be back with you and the team here at Luther Family Ford. My name is Steve Hallstrom. On behalf of all the team members at Fieldstone Group, Flag Family Media, glad to be here saluting some of the great people that serve us in our community every day. Today we're honoring the North Dakota Highway Patrol. Captain Brian Newen is here. Brian, thank you for being with us. Always great to see you, and thanks for getting us together here today. And also want to say a big thanks to General Manager Brian Mosier here at Luther Family Ford for having us out and being such good hosts and having the heat on for us this morning, Brian. It's a little chilly out there. I guess it is a January ceremony, so it makes some sense. But things are hot here. You got a showroom full of cars, so that's all good.
Yeah, it's pretty packed in here. Even had to move some out of the way so we can make room for our ceremony today. So yeah, but it is nice to have the heat on in here.
You got a number of electric vehicles in the showroom and on the lot too. Are those picking up a little bit more in interest around here?
Yeah, we've sold quite a few in the last month and a half, so it is picking up quite a bit.
Yeah,
so.
They look sharp. They always, it seems like they've saved some really good design work for some of these electric vehicles, so they look really good.
They have, and they're extremely fun to drive.
Okay,
so,
all right.
Extremely fun.
Well, we're going to sell some cars here today at the ceremony. That's what it's all about there. We want to just make sure that we salute the men and women of the North Dakota Highway Patrol here today, and we're going to be honoring one of their members, but really we're saying thanks to everybody who serves on that crew there. And we are proud to join with Brian and his team at Luther Family Ford to salute these local heroes. With that being said, time to meet this month's honoree. I'm happy to introduce you this morning to Trooper Miles Rhonemus. Let's give him a big hand, everybody, for being honored here today. All right, so Miles, congratulations to you. Tell us what it means to be honored this way here this month.
Thanks. I can't say enough about it. It's nice to be part of a team that works so well together here in Fargo, as well as it recognizes people's effort and nominates people for stuff like this. Thanks for Captain Brian Newen for nominating me this time, and for everybody else for showing up. So.
You bet. Well, thanks for coming and letting us honor you here today. I've got a little bit of a biography here on Miles that I'd like to read to you that was sent over to us by the folks at North Dakota Highway Patrol. Thank you for the opportunity to nominate Trooper Miles Rhonemus for the January 2025 Flag and Luther Family Ford Salute to Law Enforcement Award. Trooper Rhonemus is a 5-year veteran of the North Dakota Highway Patrol. He began his career as a traffic enforcement trooper in Watford City in 2020, transferred to Fargo as a traffic enforcement trooper in March of 2022, where he has worked since. Trooper Rhonemus has established himself through his daily actions as a strong supporter of the North Dakota Highway Patrol mission to make a difference every day by providing high-quality law enforcement services to keep North Dakota safe and secure. He accomplishes his mission every day with the values of professionalism, respect, integrity, commitment, loyalty, and accountability. Trooper Rhonemus is a leader in our organization. He has a high drive to make our roadways and communities safe and is a leader in our organization for crash causation violation enforcement. Trooper Rhonemus has a strong commitment to impaired driver enforcement and commercial motor vehicle enforcement. Trooper Rhonemus is a leader and remains a Level 1 certified commercial motor vehicle inspector, which is the highest level of training we have for inspecting CMVs. He maintains this certification even though it's not a requirement for his current duties. As an example of his commitment to keeping our communities safe, in July of 2022, Trooper Rhonemus was working an overtime detail. During his overtime detail, Michael Yusuf began a dangerous rampage around the Fargo area that including him intentionally driving over a motorcyclist and shooting a handgun in and from his apartment near Essentia Hospital. Trooper Rhonemus responded, located Yusuf fleeing the apartment in a pickup. Trooper Rhonemus stopped Yusuf, who failed to comply with lawful orders. Yusuf then fled, crashing into several vehicles before disabling his vehicle at the intersection of I-29 and 94. With other vehicles and people within close proximity, Yusuf exited the pickup and began to fire rounds from a handgun. Trooper Rhonemus engaged Yusuf, firing his duty weapon, ending Yusuf's rampage and taking Yusuf into custody. For Trooper Rhonemus's actions in July of 2022, he was nominated for and awarded the North Dakota Highway Patrol Distinguished Service Medal for extraordinary heroism and devotion to duty and the public he has sworn an oath to protect. Trooper Rhonemus is a teacher for our organization as well. Because of his commitment and knowledge, he has volunteered to be a field training officer within our organization. Our field training officers assist our new troopers with integration into the daily work of a trooper after the new trooper leaves the academy. This training teaches the trooper the North Dakota Highway Patrol culture, policies, and the application of the training they learned at the academy. This role is critical to the success of the North Dakota Highway Patrol and the individual troopers beginning their career with our agency. Trooper Rhonemus is a patient teacher and was picked for this role because of his wealth of knowledge in all areas of being a traffic enforcement trooper. Traffic stops, crash response, assisting other agencies, criminal enforcement, and enforcement of commercial motor vehicle regulations. In addition, Trooper Rhonemus is an instructor at the North Dakota Highway Patrol Law Enforcement Training Academy. Miles specializes in instructing emergency vehicle operations and the pursuit intervention technique, the PIT training. Trooper Rhonemus teaches new law enforcement officers for the North Dakota Highway Patrol and other law enforcement agencies how to safely operate a patrol car during emergency operations and how to safely and successfully conduct a pit maneuver. These skills are critical for the safety of the officers and the public we drive amongst. It's an honor to nominate Trooper Miles Rhonemus. He sets a great example for our agency through his strong work ethic, his commitment to serving the public, and his commitment to his fellow officers through his instruction and teaching duties. Congratulations on behalf of all of us at AM 1100 The Flag, Fieldstone Group, and Luther Family Ford. Miles, so you began your service in the Watford City area. Is that where you're from originally? Where's home for you?
I'm from central Minnesota originally. I was up in Grand Forks for about 8 years where I met my wife, got this job, and moved out to Watford as my first post, and then came back here where I have family.
Okay. Did you always want to get into law enforcement, or how did that get into your system?
Yep, I did. I started out actually at the University Police Department in Grand Forks for a couple of years before I started with the Highway Patrol, and it's just been something I always wanted to do and something I still want to do for as long as I can.
Yeah. How did that become something you wanted to pursue? Something from your childhood, or did you have family members? Tell me when that interest first began for you.
I honestly probably couldn't pin a date on it. It's just been as long as I remembered. It's been something I wanted to do, was become law enforcement. But going through the years, nothing changed, and I kept wanting to try it, so I figured I'd give it a shot, fell in love with it, and it's been that way since.
Yeah, and here we are. Yep. Did you think when you were kind of getting introduced to the different agencies of law enforcement that Highway Patrol, was that the first one that came to mind, or did the opportunity find you and you pursued it that way?
Starting out the first agency I was at, I always enjoyed the traffic enforcement side of things and looking for the impaired driving and other criminal violations that come along with that. It just kind of drew my attention towards the Highway Patrol, along with my dealings with them in the past. Everybody had been professional, and I just felt like it was a place for me to go next.
Tell me a little bit about what you've learned by doing this job. What are some of the things that you've learned about how to handle people and different situations? Because you never quite know, right, when you come up on a vehicle, what might happen in that interaction. How did you learn, and what have you learned about those interactions?
Biggest thing I've learned is it's always just important to realize that everybody that we're dealing with at some point is probably one of their worst days, especially in our crash emergencies or things like that. And just to kind of start with them at that level, meet them where they're at, and then build that respect and relationship as we're going through the contact to try to have a positive outcome.
What do you like most about what you do each day?
I like just getting out, staying busy as much as I can, and just seeing what's going to happen that day. So,
what's the hardest part of what you do? What would you say is maybe the most challenging thing that you have to go through, or that is part of your job?
Probably the hardest thing here is just those winter storm days where we're stuck from semi to semi out between Castleton and Fargo. Yeah. But those days are few and far between this winter, at least so far. So well, hopefully it stays that way. Yeah,
we've had 2 winters that have been pretty good. Find some wood to knock on for me, somebody. I want to ask you just your comments on that incident that was talked about during the ceremony there, about being involved the way you did. What do you remember about that day and that incident?
I remember all of it, honestly, but the biggest things were when I heard the crash come out initially when he hit the motorcyclist, I just knew that guy had to be stopped, and I started looking for him. Luckily, I was listening to some other radio channels and heard the dispatching about shots being fired from a balcony. I was able to make my way that way and make the connection that they were related. So it was just, it was a lot of right place at the right time, but then just making sure that I was there and trying to get the incident stopped safely.
You said that you were on overtime duty that day, so you'd already had a pretty long day. Tell us about that.
Yep, so we have overtime opportunities and we can do shift extensions from our normal shift. That was towards the end of my shift. I was supposed to be done at 4 that day, and it was at like 5 or something like that. But it's just what happened in the nature of the job. You never know exactly what you're going to get into that day, what's going to happen. And that day was that incident. So.
Yeah, memorable day.
Yep.
Brian, Captain Newen, want to ask you a little bit. We kind of read all the information there, but just speak from the heart about this young man for a minute. What does he mean to your team?
He's just been a great addition to our agency. Sometimes we rob other agencies of their best people, and they come to our organization and they just exemplify. Miles just exemplifies all those values we kind of talked about in that nomination that I did. He's just a consummate professional like we have throughout our entire organization, and obviously it's great to have him as one of our team members. We put our lives on the line every day. We put our families through that as well. And he comes to work every day with a commitment to serve the public that we serve each and every day, which is a testament to him, testament to all the people within our organization, because we're doing that each and every day.
Tell me a little bit about what's happening on the roadways across our state. What are some things we need to be watching out for here this winter season?
Yeah, winter just kind of hit us again here. We got the white stuff on the ground. The temperatures are really, really cold right now. So one of the big things right now is that we do have some ice buildup out there, and the chemicals that DOT puts down just cannot treat that ice out here at these temperatures. So just one of those things to slow down. Seen it this morning, on the city streets, even on the interstate, that we've got some really, really icy roads. So slow down. Don't use that cruise control. Make sure give yourself plenty of those following distances. Wear that seatbelt when you're out there driving. When it comes to some of the other things that we've got going on, obviously impaired driving continues to be a problem within the entire state of North Dakota. We're still, getting too many impaired drivers that we're removing from the roadways, and it's all hours of the day. And that's impairment from both alcohol, and we're seeing more drug impairment as well, with whether it's marijuana, it's fentanyl, it's methamphetamine, it's prescription medication. We're seeing more and more of that. We've done a really good job of training our troopers to recognize those indicators as well. And, we're out there doing it, and we're moving those drivers from the road to make those roads safe as well.
We're sure glad that you're doing it. Thanks to you and your team for all you do to help make our entire region and entire state safe. Yeah. So thanks very much for being here.
Thanks, Steve.
Wanted to also make sure that everybody knows here that we're going to be seeing some goodies coming into Luther Family Ford, and also to the North Dakota Highway Patrol, and Sandy's Donuts will be delivering some donuts to say thanks and their support there as well. Brian Mosier, GM here at Luther, any last comments you want to give to us here today, sir?
Just thank you for everything you guys do, and please be safe out there. It's
Very
a little
good.
Slick, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure
absolutely.
you guys are busy.
Yeah, just like us, right? In addition to us having to watch how we drive, these guys got to be careful too, since they're out there a lot more than we all are as well. We've created an honoree section on our website, am1100theflag.com, where you can see more about Miles and all of the honorees that we've had in this program going back several years now. And in the days ahead, we'll be inviting him to join us as our community VIP on the Need to Know Morning Show on AM 1100 The Flag. Radio FM 92.3. At our company, the last thing I always like to say is when there is action involved and law enforcement takes action to intervene in a situation and makes the news, we give the benefit of the doubt to the men and women who serve and protect us each day and all the training that they go through. So with that, that'll conclude our ceremony here for January here at Luther Family Ford. Would you please join me again in giving a round of applause to Trooper Miles Rhonemus. And we'll see you back here next time on am1100theflag.com. Take care, everybody. Miles, have the radio people got a hold of you yet? Yeah. Okay. Somebody will be getting a hold of you or Brian or somebody.